Today I'm going to tell you how to know when it's time to sell your home. Stay tuned. So I share this data with all my clients. It's a website called Pope Azaltine. It's actually somebody's name. And basically they give us all the data of when the best time to sell your home is in Washington State and when you shouldn't sell your home, or when you should buy and when you shouldn't buy. I want to go through all this with you so you really understand what I'm talking about. So as we kind of look down at this graph here, what you're going to see is a very similar cycle every year. You see, it's almost like it's a rainbow. It goes up and it goes down every single year. So if I just kind of zoom in on one specific year, and on the blue line, it shows that's the inventory of houses on the market. So how many houses are on the market, basically. And then the red line is what they're saying is net pending sales. And if you're not an insider in real estate, that just means a home received an offer, it hasn't closed yet, but it's come off the market. And so what you see every year, and there are some variances that you'll see in this graph with COVID because, you know, everybody was buying in COVID. In Washington, for example, in COVID, you probably could have put a house for $1 million that was $1 million, and you might have had to pay $1.5 million. So people were crazy, spending all sorts of money. But in the norm, what I see here, when you look at this graph, every single year you start off with low inventory in January. So, and then it starts creeping up. So it's still low. So January, February, March, it's creeping up. That's still low inventory time. So that's when inventory is low, that means it's a really good time to sell because you're not competing against a bunch of other home sellers. But what also happens in low inventory times is, so if I'm gonna take you out to see a home and you wanna look at a home in Seattle or Kirkland or somewhere in this area, you're only gonna be able to see 1 or 2 homes. So everybody who's out there looking is seeing those same 1 or 2 homes, and you are gonna compete, meaning you need to have your price go higher. You need to waive contingencies. You got to do all these things that are really uncomfortable for home buyers. That's great for home sellers. So in that early time of year, and you're going to see every single year, as inventory is low, that's a great time to sell because there's a lot more buyers out there versus the inventory that's out there. So basic supply and demand. On the flip side, start looking later in the year. Inventory keeps on spiking up. So you start in January, it's slowly working its way up until it typically spikes in September, October, then comes back down during the holiday season. So as it continues to spike, and the average person, when you look outside, and this happens to us every year, and we try to catch our clients early enough, every single year people think summer is the best time to sell my home. And the truth is, it's the opposite of that. In the summer, what happens, and you're gonna see this in this graph, is every single year in the summer, inventory continues to spike. So that means more competition. So instead of I'm taking you out to see a home, instead of you seeing 2 homes early in the year, we can go see 15 homes. And if there's 15 homes on there, there's a lot more competitions for the home sellers out there. And for buyers, the buyers who are really excited already bought early in the year. So those are the guys who are willing to overpay or pay too much for a home or pay a lot for a home. And those are the buyers you wish you still had. But now all of a sudden, the pending sales of the homes coming off the market are coming down. So buyers and sellers are working against each other. So home inventory is going up and the pending sales are continuing to come down. And this happens every single year. So as much as the outside world does affect everything, if something's going around, like right now, we're in August of 2025, things are happening in the world, right? Tariffs are happening that we haven't seen before in the United States. Wars are happening around the world. So there are outside factors that can affect the home buying process. But typically, again, you're gonna see every single year, if you start off early and forget what your neighbor tells you, forget what your brother-in-law tells you what to do, they just sold their home, just know that as soon as we get past, you put your New Year's celebration away, you put your New Year's decorations away, and we get to February, March, April, inventory is starting to go up, buyers are coming out, you can get more for your home that time of year. And then as we get to summer, it kind of plateaus and there's more homes on the market at that time of year and less buyers. We have the same conversation every year. So if you're thinking about selling, it's always great if you can plan in advance. There are certain people we know that are going through life situations that you can't plan it out, right? Like we're working with clients that are going through divorces, deaths, relocation. So at certain times you can't control that, but if you can really control when you buy or sell a home, you will do much better if you follow these simple graphs that we look at on popeazaltine.com. So there's also a secondary graph that you'll see on their website. And for the nerds like me out there, this is probably super helpful. But basically it's talking about the absorption of inventory. And again, COVID was a little bit strange, but what you're gonna see is early in the year, so February, March, April, the absorption is higher than when you go later in the year. Absorption when homes are coming off the market. So the secondary graph basically explains the same thing as the first. The only other details that you need to know about the secondary graph is it gives a little bit more detail about, basically gives a little bit more information about how many months of inventory, and I know this is getting into nitty gritty, of inventory are available in a specific marketplace. So if all the homes are sold in a specific area and let's say there's 1 month of inventory or 2 months of inventory, that means it's a seller's market. This is what the graph shows. But if there is 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months of inventory available, that means it's a buyer's market. So that's the secondary graph. But I really like to explain, and it's the same cycles. You're going up and down. You're going, starting in January, you're going up until you get to August and coming back down in December. And then you're going back up and you're going back down. Just remember, that data will really help you as you're thinking about when the best time to buy and when the best time to sell is. So if you have any questions at all about these graphs, because I know that they can be confusing, and even when I got my license 13 years ago, I had to dive into it and understand them a little bit better, just reach out to me. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me. I'm here for any of your questions. And thanks for watching.